Her name is Naimah. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you came for the picnic today of the Gods and Earth celebrating another year, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I came out. This is an annual event, but and I was coming anyway. But I happened to see Rashim, who I've known since we were children, and he asked me what did I know about this event coming out here because he was going to have a table set up. So I said, of course, I was going to be coming out here, and he's here, and so I'm here.
Exactly. Now, do you know the family, but you didn't really know Preme, is that correct?
Right. I didn't know him at all, I could say. So I just know that if we're here to talk about justice in the justice system, then I could speak a little bit about that because I have 3 sons and a daughter, and, my sons have been improperly accosted by the police. And, I've had to go to the precinct on 2 occasions to deal with that issue.
That's something that's really, really important, and I'm loving that it's a mother's viewpoint because, I mean, I have a son too, and every single day I say a prayer, God, please let justice prevail and cover my son, because it's innocent people that are getting in trouble with the cops just because they're black. Now, one of the primary concerns about Supreme's case is that he was not able to testify for himself, which is a constitutional law. What do you say to the Constitution being taken away to anybody that's listening?
Well, I believe that when you have a good lawyer, because sometimes in our cases, when we don't have the money to buy our way through the justice system like some people do, but you should have your basic rights. But we find that there's 2 justice systems. There's one for those who have money and those who don't have money. And so to get a fair trial, it seems you have to have money. And that's unfortunate because that's not what the Constitution is set up for.
I agree with that. One of the things that I always complain about is how city and government get money for every conviction that they make. I don't think that should be, because it doesn't allow for justice to prevail. Because if they don't meet the quota of convictions, then they're not, quote unquote, stopping crime. But if people are making an elective and communities are focusing on stopping crime, then crime should be stopping and convictions should be lessening. So it's not the goal to increase it or sustain it, it's the goal to decrease it. And we're the targets. What do you say to being the target?
Well, that's something that the community needs to be made more aware of, because I've only became aware of that in the last 7 years myself, that the privatization of prisons have increased dramatically, and it was also revealed that the different prisons that they have in New York State are directly in line with urban areas. And so the privatization, I've seen articles in papers where the private prisons have actually sued the state because they were not able to fulfill their quotas of sustaining, and they were going to shut down the prisons, which means a loss of jobs. And I think that's really inhumane and definitely unjust that a person's occupation is based upon the imprisonment of a particular population, particularly, in urban areas, which really largely house black people.
Exactly. It's modern day slavery. Call it whatever you want to call it, but the numbers and the facts and the statistics and the cases are starting to prove that. As a mom, what do you tell other mothers that have their children out there? How do you keep your children aware?
Well, that's the thing, is that, about coming out here, I'm drawn to this particular park on this particular day because of having knowledge of self. So we always trying to educate and enlighten, people everywhere, actually, about the pitfalls of going the wrong direction. So you really actually have to try to stay on the right side of the law. But if things happen, sometimes it's set up that way, because I've learned now that it's geared towards criminalization. A lot of things that we don't have, such as jobs, the high rents, and you don't have the man in the household, the separatism, is all designed to keep us down. And it keeps the woman struggling, and it keeps the man and the woman apart and not in the family. Even the welfare system, the way everything is set up with that, is designed for criminalization. Instead of having police hiding behind obstacles to arrest people, be present to deter them from doing things. And as a matter of fact, forget about that. Be a part of the community, because when I was growing up, when I was like 10 years old in Brooklyn, they were actually in the neighborhoods. You had beat cops. Yeah. You knew them by name. Hey, Joe, you know Officer Joe. You know, you might put officer in there. But then as time went on, something really changed. And so, you know, I just really think that the times have changed, and not for the better.
You know, unfortunately, there are some industries that realize the monetization of humanization. And to me, when I'm looking at the judicial system, it's looking more like population control than it is anything else, or sustaining the law. So for all of you that want to know more about what we're talking about, please go to the Facebook or the Instagram, Justice for Kenneth McGriff. And remember, it's all about putting us, people of color, in justice instead of being victims of injustice.